Hey YouTube, I'm Ross Stewart with Stewart Media Digital, here today with the lovely Liz to talk about the Tamron 70-180 f2.8 for the Sony mirrorless system. Now this is my very first time using this lens, so I want to give you guys my first impression, hands-on review to help you guys decide if this is the right lens for you. And if you end up finding this review helpful, please be sure to subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Bring your hand a little closer to your face. Yeah, just like that. Damn. Nice eyes on me for one, perfect. So first of all, this lens is really exciting to me for a couple of major reasons. I am very used to shooting with my Sony G Master 70-200 2.8, but that thing is really heavy and buying it was really expensive. But I think that 70-200 range is really important for most photographers. So having something like this Tamron 70-180mm 2.8 is going to give you a lot of very similar performance at a much cheaper price point. This lens is only about $1,200 US, and you do lose a little bit of that range from the 180 to the 200mm. But so far, taking a few shots with it, I don't really notice for portrait work. If I'm taking pictures of somebody on stage, for example, it may end up being a bit of a bigger issue losing those 20mm at the end. But for most uses, I think a lot of people aren't even gonna notice. Yeah, just like that. Perfect. And so another thing I really want to talk about is why this focal range is so important. Because this lower price point with that 2.8 aperture and the 70-180, that makes a lens of this zoom range or approximate zoom range a lot more accessible to a lot more people. So one of the reasons I think it's so important is because it is so versatile. I have her a bit further away right now, and taking some full body shots at 70mm at 2.8, I'm still getting a lot of really great subject separation. The background gets blurry and looks really nice and really pleasing. And then when you zoom all the way into 180, that effect is even more extreme. You get such a blurry, smooth background. You get your subject popping so much from the background. So I really love this range, and especially if you're newer to photography looking to get into this focal range, this lens is going to be a great option for you. So let's stop and talk about build quality really quick. The build quality on this lens is definitely one of the areas where it compromises. It does feel very plasticky in the hand, and if you're used to using any of the Sony G Master lenses or any of the Sony Zeiss lenses, this will definitely feel like a downgrade in terms of build quality. However, the benefit is that it makes up in weight. This is only 1.8 pounds or 810 grams. So it is quite a bit lighter than most other lenses at this focal range. So that is a huge benefit. One thing that drives me absolutely nuts though is that the manual focus ring and the zoom ring are switched compared to those other Sony lenses. So I keep accidentally going to change my focus and touching the manual focus ring, and it's just taking me a really long time to get used to. However, the rings themselves do feel pretty nice. Zooming from 70 to 180 and back, it's a good distance where I can get precise, where I can hone in on a precise focal length if I want, or I can make the throw really quickly if I just want to punch right in. Additionally, it has this lock button to keep it from telescoping in your bag, because it does telescope as you zoom in and out, which does come with the risk of introducing dust and moisture into the lens itself. However, Tamron does say that this lens is splash proof and dust resistant, and it does have a nice rubber gasket on the back. Perfect right there. So another thing really impressive about this lens is that it is really very surprisingly sharp. When I punch in on the details or I punch in on an eye, it looks really sharp and really crisp. I don't know how it would stack up yet to some of my other lenses, but so far this lens is looking really sharp. Yeah, right there. Now put the hat on and do like a, right there, perfect. Nice. And now I'm gonna zoom in and a little higher, perfect. Nice. And put the sunglasses on and perfect. So at both 70mm and 180, we're getting a lot of great subject separation with that 2.8 maximum aperture. At 70mm, you do still get to see a lot of the background, even though the background does get a little bit blurry. So if you do want to show your subject in the context of their environment, this lens at 70mm is a really great option for that. Or if you want to destroy the background, make it really blurry, make it really smooth and creamy, you can zoom into 180 and get that really nice subject separation. The blurry out of focus areas look really nice and really smooth. But now let's go find some lights and see what the bokeh balls look like. Look off that way again a little bit. Nice right there. Awesome. Nice. All right, now turn back the other way again. So as you can see from those shots, at 70mm, we do get a good amount of subject separation even at a distance. The bokeh looks pretty nice with some very round bokeh balls towards the center with some cat eye towards the edges. When I step in at 70mm, we get even nicer, smoother results. The background disappears even quicker and the bokeh balls get bigger and nicer. And then of course, when you zoom into 180, you get even more really nice subject separation. The bokeh balls are a little bit more pronounced. And then when you step in at 180, you get some really, really nice creamy backgrounds, some really nice bokeh. The bokeh is not necessarily the best in terms of quality that I've ever seen, but that's really nitpicky. At the end of the day, bokeh is bokeh, and if you can get your subject to pop out from the background, then your images are going to have a lot of character, and this lens definitely delivers. All right, so just to wrap things up, I am very pleasantly surprised with this lens. Just to be totally honest, when I first picked it up and felt how plasticky it felt, I did not have high hopes, but after getting to shoot with it, I actually really like this lens. Some of the cool things like being able to take some macro shots with this lens, combined with that really important focal range of 70 to 180. I did not miss that range from 180 to 200 at all. I didn't even notice. Got some really good close-up portraits, some really nice full body portraits. So overall, I think this lens would be a really great addition to pretty much anybody's kit, and I absolutely recommend it. At that $1,200 price point and only weighing 1.8 pounds, this lens is almost a no-brainer if you're looking to get into this focal length. Anyway, thank you so much to Liz for being our subject today, and thank you guys so much for watching. As always, please be sure to like and subscribe.